here's Brody Brazil.
The back and forth between ESPN and YouTube TV has now gone on for about 2 weeks, and I feel like now might be the right time for me to weigh in with some thoughts and perspectives and opinions, and I feel like I can safely do this. I'm not a subscriber of YouTube TV. I am a creator here on YouTube. I also do not work for ESPN, so maybe I'm neutral enough to give you both sides of it, and I will eventually in this video. But let's first begin with the thought that, is everybody losing here? Like when these two sides can't come to terms, they can't agree on a next carriage contract, that's hurting everybody in between all the way up and down the line as this situation carries on. It's approaching 2 weeks, and at this point, it feels like it could easily go on for 2 months. Here are some of the main points. YouTube TV, which is owned by Alphabet, which Alphabet owns Google. It's the parent company of everything Google-centric. Alphabet owns Google. Alphabet owns YouTube TV. YouTube TV and Google are kind of like siblings. So when you hear all that, just understand who is up against who in this situation. So technically, it's Alphabet versus Disney. It's not just ESPN. It's also ABC and FX and Nat Geo and Freeform, other Disney-related channels that go on television subscription services or satellite or cable providers. But it's the Disney versus Alphabet back and forth here that we're actually talking about. It's not even YouTube versus ESPN. It's like it's their parents fighting over all of this, and the kids are the ones that we know by name. So they're disagreeing on the value of network services. Basically, Disney provides all of these channels, including all the ESPN channels, to cable and satellite providers or a streaming provider, in this case like YouTube TV, and they do it for a cost. YouTube TV buys those services and then turns around and sells them to you, the consumer of the product. But the carriage contract between Alphabet and Disney, basically YouTube and ESPN, that expired at midnight on October 30th. And so now Disney is no longer on YouTube TV, and that includes, again, these channels, ESPN, ABC, like your local ABC affiliate, FX, Nat Geo, Freeform, and all of the on-demand content that you would normally get through YouTube TV. Disney is asking for more money than they previously were asking for, and it's more than right now YouTube will actually pay. This is as simple as that. It's a money deal. They both want this to happen. It's not like one side doesn't want Disney channels to be on YouTube. They both want this to happen. They literally just cannot agree to terms here. YouTube doesn't want to lose profits. Let's also be very clear about this. YouTube doesn't want to raise prices. If they have to pay more for the Disney product, what do you think they do with that cost? They have to turn it around and pass it on to you. And I'll talk about how much they charge for a subscription and how much they're willing to credit people right now during this blackout of Disney-related properties. But right now, again, they are blacking out Disney channels. So if you try and watch ESPN, if you're trying to watch college football, if you're trying to watch Monday Night Football, if you're trying to watch anything Disney-related right now on YouTube TV, you're obviously not getting it. Here are my thoughts first from the ESPN angle. And yes, they did just release their brand new app. They called it a platform for so many months. It turned out to be just updating their app in a very nice way. And I'm not here to critique it. I'm just saying I thought it was going to be something so much more dynamic, but it simply is a brand new app. And it's a direct-to-consumer app, meaning that you don't need any subscription anywhere else. If you just want ESPN stuff, you can subscribe directly to ESPN, straight from them. And never get blacked out. You can get every single channel, every single product, game, studio show they offer. So maybe they don't mind not being on YouTube if they were trying to push their own project. However, I still think diversity is in their best interest, and being in as many places right here in 2025 is still in their best interest. Because if people that subscribe to YouTube TV and they watch for the next couple weeks, and if they don't miss not having ESPN, if they don't miss ESPN, then that's a problem for ESPN. That's a bad habit that you're instilling in people like, oh, I can survive without this. I'll watch NBC Sports, Fox Sports. I'll watch whatever different channel. I'll get my sports from somewhere else. I don't necessarily need ESPN. I can live without this. That's a bad thing for ESPN customers to feel. You don't want them to feel that. You don't want to be absent if you're ESPN for too long. I think that's the main takeaway. Also, you probably saw how ESPN talent and personalities were posting on their social platforms and accounts to try and influence viewers what was the website? Like iwantmysports.com or something like that. I could be right or wrong about that, by the way. Whatever they were pumping and pitching and promoting, that's a rough look. And I'll say that because I've been in those shoes before, and maybe you're asked to promote something on behalf of the network. And granted, it's the network you work for. It's your company. It's your livelihood. Of course you want to back that up. But I don't know that when it comes from above, when it's not organic from a person themselves, right? It's not straight from the host of a show to you, the viewer of the show. When it seems forced or pushed upon you, hey, stay on our side. Root for us in this. We want to charge more. Be good with that. Tell YouTube to pay more for us. It kind of puts the viewers and the customers in this situation of like, they don't really care. They don't really want to get in on sides here. Like they love ESPN and they love YouTube TV. They want both. Like they don't want one or the other. They don't want to have to take sides here. So I get it. The two sides are waging a thing with each other, but I don't know that they should force that on the consumer or the viewer. I do think that right now, weekends and especially Monday nights in the football season, this is happening at a very interesting time. If this happened in the middle of summer, say, I don't know that a lot of people would be clamoring for ESPN, but because it's happening in the midst of the college football season and Monday Night Football, there's a lot of people saying, wait, I'm trying to watch my YouTube TV. Where's ESPN? Where's ABC? I can't get it. So honestly, this is the most opportune time for ESPN to be absent because they're missing and people are trying to find them, maybe more than any other time in the year. And the real question is, how much does YouTube TV absence cost ESPN in ratings and revenue? If their ratings go down, if their overall impressions and views go down, this situation is hurting them to the tune of, I don't know, $10 million, $20 million, $30 million a month at some point. Who knows what the real number is? You'll never know that. But if we're just spitballing here, it's costing ESPN to not be on YouTube TV, even though they're trying to charge more in the long run. So we'll see who gives in here and ultimately settles this. On the YouTube TV side of thoughts here, they just started offering $20 a month in rebates for customers who are now blacked out from the Disney stuff that they want to subscribe to. The current subscription cost, at least the one I could find, again, I'm not a customer, $82.99 a month, but that lets you know that like if they're willing to give you back $20 a month for the inconvenience of not having this Disney content on their service, that lets you know that like Disney's a pretty big chunk of the operation of YouTube TV, maybe like a quarter of what they do. That's a really big deal if you're YouTube TV. How long can they survive giving this $20 back a month and doing this service at a very cut down rate? And by the way, it's interesting how it's a rebate. It's not an automatic deduction. They're making YouTube TV's making customers apparently go through the rebate process. It's not just automatically taken away from your bill. You have to go ask for it. But I digress. So that's an interesting breakdown. It just goes to show you how big a part of YouTube TV the ESPN and Disney products are. This is the same problem that cable and satellite services had for so many years, and networks would do their little ticker and their scroll and say, hey, we're going away off this cable or satellite system. Make sure that you fight on our side to get us back. Unfortunately, we thought that maybe going to streaming would end a lot of the back and forth between providers and carriers, and that's kind of not happening here. Like, or networks and providers, I should say, and carriers. Like we're still seeing the battles and the fights between these two sides. And in the end, again, all the customer wants is to enjoy the product. I do appreciate YouTube TV's attempt to keep their prices lower, but I also wonder if maybe they're trying to keep the profit margin the same. What if they just took a hit for a little while? What if they paid more and took a hit and then ultimately charge more for something down the road? At this point, I don't know what the negotiations are. Seems like they don't want to raise their prices, and maybe they've taken the biggest hit they think they can. This not only hurts business now for YouTube TV in the same way that it does for ESPN, it could impact future growth. If you're thinking about cutting cable, switching over to YouTube TV, and like literally right now, right this week or this month, and you're saying, but wait, if I do this, I won't get ESPN and there's no guarantee we'll ever get them back, I think I'll try a different service, right? So this is not good short-term or obviously long-term for YouTube TV. And that's why I'm saying here, everybody loses. This is ugly. It's messy. It has nothing to do with the blue-collar viewers like you and I who just want the opportunity to Make it real easy to find the channels and the games we want. It is that simple, but it's also so complicated behind the scenes, and because of that, everybody's losing. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. Helps me, this video, and this channel. And don't forget to subscribe because I would love to see you back here next time.